Okay, call him now. Right. So let's quickly revise the previous session. What we have learned about learned yesterday. What is our topic? What is our topic? Introduction with respect to paper number 8, cost accounting, and the syllabus structure we have discussed, right? So your entire syllabus is segregated into how many parts? 3 parts. Section A, B, C, which contains 40% weightage, 30% weightage, and another 30% weightage. And we have learned about teaching order also. Teaching order, we came to know that first of all we are going to cover section A topics, which contains foundation basics. Even though you learn those topics at foundation level, we have to revise in intermediate beginning stage. So after that, we are going to cover section B. So first of all, let's quickly understand about what is meant by cost. What is meant by cost? So what is our paper name? Cost accounting. Cost accounting. So first of all, we have to know about what is meant by cost, and later we have to know about what is meant by costing, cost accounting, etc. So first of all, sir, what is meant by cost? In simple, we can conclude that cost refers to the amount of expenses is spent to obtain the product or to manufacture the product. In simple, in other words, we can say that the amount of resources we spent, say for example, that study chair is there. In order to finish that product, what kind of materials has been used in the finishing of that product? Sponge has been used, iron has been used, wooden table has been used, and for finishing purposes paint has been used, and screws has been used, and ultimately assembly purposes welding expenses will be there. So like that, in order to call it as a study chair, we have to invest some sort of resources. So all the resources cost, all the expenses cost will amounts to the ultimate figure, which we will call it as cost. So in simple, we can conclude that cost refers to the amount of resources. In resources, it may be monetary resources or otherwise non-monetary resources. Sir, what is non-monetary resource? We are going to tell in detail in coming session. Okay, so or sacrificed or spent, money sacrificed or money spent, or resources sacrificed or resources spent. Okay, so to achieve a specific objective or to acquire a product or service or asset. Sir, what is meant by non-monetary resource, sir? Or what is meant by sacrifice of resource or spending the resource? In simple, say for example, you are having a own premises, a two-story building. You are the owner of that building. On first floor, you are using it as a residential property for your accommodation purposes. Second floor is a vacant building. Second floor is a vacant floor. No one has occupied, no tenants. So you wish to start an office. Somewhere around you have to take the office for leasing purposes or rental purposes, right? So why to take another person's land or another person's building? So that is why you occupied your building's second floor for your commercial usage or office purposes. Who is the owner of that building? You are only the owner of that building. And for commercial purposes, for office purposes, you are occupying the second floor of that building and using for your office purposes. At month end, are you going to pay rent for that building? You are the owner of that building and you only using for your office purposes. So no need to pay any rent. But even though you are not paying any sort of rent in monetary purposes, in order to use that building for your office purposes, you sacrifice that building for rental purposes. So no one will come and no one will occupy that building. Why? Because you only occupied for your office purposes. Clear? So if you don't start office on that building, what you have been done? You would have been leased that building, leased that second floor for another person's office purposes. So you might have got some income in the name of rent. Income in the name of rent. But now, are you getting that rent? No, you are not getting that rent. Why? Because you only occupied that floor and you are not going to pay any rent for yourself. That means the sacrifice of resource. You sacrificed 50% portion of your own building for your office purposes. That is sacrifice of resources. That is non-monetary sacrifice. Non-monetary sacrifice. Sir, monetary sacrifice means you have actually paid rent. 50,000 rent per month, 50,000 you are investing, you are paying in the name of rent. That is monetary sacrifice. So cost includes the amount of resources spent, whether it may be monetary or it may be non-monetary, to achieve a specific objective. That specific objective may be acquiring a product or acquiring rendering services or acquiring an asset, whatever it may be. Producing a product, rendering a services or acquiring an asset, whatever it may be. Okay, it is the value of what is given up to get something in return. What is given up to get something in return? Say for example, what is your CMA Inter coaching cost? Somebody asked you that, what is your CMA Inter coaching cost? Sir, I am paying some 50,000 to the institute in the name of fee for coaching purposes, and 20,000 to institute for registration purposes, and 3,000 in the name of examination. Total sums up to 50,000 plus 20,000 plus 3,000. 73,000 you have spent for your CMA Inter qualification. These are the monetary sacrifice. Okay, so what is the total cost of your course? Means CMA foundation cost, CMA Inter cost and CMA final cost. Say for example, CMA foundation cost is 30,000, CMA Inter cost is 73,000, CMA final cost is 1 lakh. Total sums up to 1,93,000. 1 lakh. This is the cost of acquiring your qualification. This is the amount you have spent to get enrolled as a CMA member. Okay, say for example, you wish to purchase a chair. How much you will invest, how much you will spend for that chair? A chair may be available at a 500 rupees budget, 1000 rupee budget, 1500, 2000, 5000, limitless. Say for example, you have spent 3,000 for acquiring a chair. 3,000 for acquiring a chair. Somebody asked you, what is the cost of that chair? What you will say? 3,000. Why you are saying why 3,000? Means 3,000 is the amount spent to acquire asset. 3,000 is the amount spent to acquire the asset. Okay, so the cost may be called as the amount spent or amount sacrificed. Amount spent or amount sacrificed to purchase, to produce the product or to render the services or to acquire the asset. So we will produce the products. We will produce the products and we will render the services and we will acquire the assets. Okay, so the amount of money we spent to produce the products or to render the services or to acquire the asset is nothing but the cost. Okay, say for example, I will tell you another simple example. Listen carefully. Listen carefully. Say for example, you are having 1 ton of take wood at your home. 1 ton of take wood. Sir, how I am having 1 ton of take wood? Some 40-50 years back, your grandfather planted a take wood tree and the tree gave 1 ton take wood. Take wood trees won't grow up in 1 year or 2 years or 3 years span of time. It will take its own sweet time to grow up. Around 30 to 40 years time it will take for a take wood tree to mature. So your grandfather planted one take wood tree and after 50 years it gave 1 ton take wood timber, 1 ton. So now you wish to produce one double cot 6 by 6 cot from that 1 ton take wood. Double cot 6 by 6. Okay, so if you purchase 1 ton take wood from market at current market price at today's cost, it will cost around 2 lakhs. How much it will cost? 2 lakhs. But are you acquiring 1 ton take wood from market? You are not going to acquire 1 ton take wood from market. Why? You you are having 1 ton take wood from a tree. Who planted the tree? Your grandfather. How many years back? Around 30 to 40 or 50 years back he planted. So you are not having any sort of requirement to purchase 1 ton take wood from market. So 2 lakhs has been saved. 2 lakhs has been saved. Listen carefully. Now you wish to make 6 by 6 cot, right? Double cot. So you hired a carpenter. You hired 3 carpenters and they asked 1 month time frame to produce 6 by 6 cot from 1 ton take wood. 6 by 6 cot from 1 ton take wood. And they demanded 1 lakh rupee as their service charge. How much is the service charge? 1 lakh rupee as the service charge. And for material purposes, for painting, garnishing, and another materials will be used in the manufacture of wood, right? Manufacture of cot, right? So for that purposes, another 25,000 is incurred. How much incurred? Another 25,000. Another 25,000. So listen carefully. How much is the amount of money you actually spend to produce one take wood 6 by 6 double cot bed? You spent just 1,25,000 out of your pocket. You spent 1,25,000 out of your pocket to produce one 6 by 6 double cot bed from take wood. Okay, so now you can't say 1,25,000 is the cost of that bed. Why? Because let's quickly understand and read out the cost definition. The amount of resources, this is the very important thing, sacrificed. So apart from 1,25,000, you have sacrificed another thing also. What is that another thing? The take wood plant which your grandfather planted around 40 to 50 years ago. From the take wood plant, how much timber available? 1 ton. What is the market price of that 1 ton timber? Around 2 lakhs. So you have sacrificed the 2 lakhs worth of tree also. 2 lakhs worth of tree. So now the definition once again read, cost refers to the amount of resources sacrificed. Now Sacrificed or spent. Very good. So what is the amount spent? 1,25,000. What is the amount sacrificed? 2 lakhs. Total sums up to 2 lakhs plus 1 lakh plus 25,000. Total sums up to 3 lakhs 25,000. So, as per costing knowledge or in the costing language, what must be the cost of the double cot 6x6 teakwood bed? 3 lakhs 25,000. Why? You have spent only 1 lakh 25,000, na? Why you are saying it is 3 lakh 25,000? Yes, sir. As per cost definition, cost includes the resources we spent as well as the resources we sacrificed, either in monetary terms or in non-monetary terms. Monetary terms or in non-monetary terms. Both should form part of cost. That is the main definition of cost. Are we clear? Okay. So once again we will read the definition. This is very important. Cost refers to the amount of resources sacrificed or spent to achieve a specific objective. That specific objective may be producing a product, rendering a services, or acquiring asset, whatever it may be. The outcome may be a product, outcome may be a service, outcome may be an asset. Okay. So irrespective of the outcome, the cost definition is the amount of money you spent or sacrificed to achieve the objective. The objective may be a product, objective may be a service or asset. All example I have written here. Listen carefully, read carefully. Example, a bakery uses costing to determine the exact cost of producing one cake, which includes ingredient cost, electricity cost, and labor cost. Okay, so the cost of that cake should include the amount of material spent and the amount of labor spent and the other administrative overheads like electricity and rental and all. All components will form of cost of that cake. To that cost, profit will be added and accordingly selling price will be decided. So this is what we call cost. In simple, you can remember like this. Cost is nothing but, okay, that is okay. I'm talking about definition. Cost is nothing but the amount spent or the resources sacrificed to achieve the object. Simple, three lines only. Only 3 lines. I'll write here. Cost is nothing but amount spent or resources sacrificed. Amount spent or resources sacrificed for what? To achieve the objective. To achieve objective or means goal. To achieve the goal. The goal may be producing a product, rendering a service, or acquiring asset. In simple, this is nothing but cost. This is nothing but cost. Are we clear? In your material or in your notes, you can simply write this point. So if you're able to write this point, you will be well versed with the definition of cost. Nothing to worry. Cost is nothing but the amount we spent or sacrifice or the resources we sacrifice to achieve the object. The object may be producing a product, rendering a service, or to acquire an asset, whatever it may be. Are we clear? Okay. Next one, costing. Costing. Sir, what is costing? Actually, costing is equal to cost plus ing, continuous tense. Continuous tense. Listen carefully. Costing is nothing but the pool of techniques, pool of techniques or summary of techniques to determine the cost of a product or cost of a service. We will be having lot of techniques to determine the cost of product or cost of service. Say for example, this camera cost is 1,25,000. How the manufacturer might have decided that this camera cost is only 1,25,000? Why not 80,000 or why not 2,50,000? There is a certain base. Those kind of pool of techniques. Say for example, job costing, batch costing, process costing, operating costing, contract costing, another standard costing. Like that, lot of techniques are available in costing scenario. This pool of techniques, in simple, we will call it as it is a science of determination of cost of a product or cost of service. That kind of techniques will be called as costing. Which technique we need to use? Depending upon the applicability and depending upon the nature of the organization and nature of business, we are going to use the techniques. Listen carefully. Costing is the technique and process of determining the cost of a product or service or activity. See, simple. Costing is nothing but how to determine the cost of a product, how to determine the cost of a service. Say for example, this chair is acquired in acquired from furniture store at a cost of 4,200 rupees. Why the seller has, how the seller has been decided the cost of that chair is 4,200 including profit only, right? How he has decided the profit, how he has decided the cost, how he has decided the manufacturing cost and all. These are all the techniques which is available in cost scenarios, and the bunch of techniques and bunch of these scientific scenarios will be called as costing. We called as costing. So costing is the technique and process of determining the cost of a product or a process of determining the cost of service or activity. Okay, so it involves identifying the cost and allocating the cost and apportioning is nothing but sharing. Apportioning is nothing but sharing. Say for example, three of your friends went to your home by auto, or went to cinema hall by auto. For three members, the Rapido auto person charged 90 rupees. For three persons, the auto person charged 90 rupees. How you will apportion the cost? What you will do? 30 per head. How 30 per head has been arrived yet? How means you have apportioned the cost, have shared the cost. So 90 rupees for three persons means 90 by 3, which implies to 30 per head. That is nothing but apportionment. Okay, in simple, that is nothing but apportionment. So costing has lot of techniques and a lot of techniques for what? To determine the cost of a product or a cost of a service. It involves identifying the cost, allocating the cost, and apportioning cost to cost units and cost centers. Cost units as well as cost centers. There is a dedicated definition for cost unit as well as cost center also, which I am going to tell in coming days. What is cost unit and what is cost center. This is a broad definition. Okay, so key points of costing is costing will be used in ascertaining per unit cost. Ascertaining per unit cost. For what purposes costing will be used? For ascertaining per unit cost. Sir, how per unit cost will be decided as per costing, sir? What we have learned, costing is nothing but techniques of determining the cost of a product, right? That furniture fellow, how he decided that the cost of the chair is 4,200? This camera selling person, how he decided that the camera cost is 1,25,000? Okay, there are some techniques. This bunch of techniques, nothing but costing. Okay, so costing will be used to ascertain the per unit cost, and costing is useful in budgeting, in pricing, in pricing decisions and cost control. Sir, how in pricing decisions costing will be used? Say for example, your manufacturing cost is 3,100 and the MRP you have mentioned on the product is 5,000. MRP you have mentioned it as 5,000. What is your manufacturing cost? 3,100. Only you know about the manufacturing cost. MRP you have mentioned on the product as 5,000. Your products lacked the marketability. So no one is purchasing your products. Why? Because competitors are selling the products at lower level at 4,500, 4,300, 4,100. They are selling. At 5,000 rupee, no one is showing any sort of interest to purchase your products. Why? Because at cheaper price only other products are available. Okay, so listen carefully. What is the MRP? 5,000. What is the actual manufacturing cost which is known to yourself only? 3,100. So what is the profit you are getting all these days? 1,900, 1,900. Now you have decided to give discount in order to capture the market. In order to capture the market, you have announced bumper bonanza sale or summer hot sale or cool winter sale, rainy drizzling sale, whatever the name it may be. In Flipkart, Amazon also we used to find this kind of names. They will drop the prices. How much the price should be dropped? How the price will be decided? Decided accordingly. You only know that 3,100 is the manufacturing cost, right? So even though 1,800 discount is allowed on your products, you will still be at profit side only. But the profit amount will be less. But sometimes liquidity also matters. Say for example, after completion of CMA, you have joined pharmaceutical company. Listen carefully, this is very important. After completion of CMA, where you joined? On pharmaceutical company you have joined at 1 lakh per month salary, starting salary 1 lakh per month. Listen carefully. After completion of 1 month, company didn't give any sort of salary to you. Instead, they gave 1 lakh worth of medicines to you. 1 lakh worth of medicines, tonics, tablets and all they gave. Are you happy with the decision? Practically speaking, the medicines worth will be 1 lakh only. The medicines are not useless. If you are able to sell in the open market, you will fetch 1 lakh. You will fetch 1 lakh easily. But you won't accept that kind of remuneration or that kind of salary or that kind of mode of payment. You won't be able to accept. Why? Because we need to sell. Where you will sell? How you will sell? Why you will sell? Are you a marketing person or a professional person? Professional person. Why you will accept that kind of mode of payments and sort of salary? Even though the medicines are worthable of 1 lakh worth of value, you won't be able to accept. Not accept. You will not accept simply. Why? Because why I'll involve in marketing activities? Why I should involve in another headache involvement activities? So even though the medicines are worth the open market worth of the medicines is 1 lakh, why should I sell? Okay, in the same way, liquidity is very important. So why company is giving 1 lakh worth of medicines to you? Because the company products lacks marketability. No one is purchasing the company products in open market. Company is not having any money to pay your salary. That is why company is giving medicines to you. Are you going to accept the decision? No, you are not going to accept the decision. Why? Because what you want? Money, monetary payment, 1 lakh worth of money you want. So in order to pay your salary, company needs money or medicines. Money. Even though the company warehouse is filled with medicines, company cash box is nil. Why? Because company products lacks marketability. So in that cases, liquidity is very important. Which is important? You are having lot of stock and medicines are worthable in market itself. But what is lacking in the company is liquidity. Company is unable to pay the staff salaries. In order to pay the staff salaries, company needs what? Money or medicines? Money. So in order to get quick money from open market, what they need to do? They need to slash their prices. They need to reduce their prices. They need to offer a discount. How much they should offer a discount? That is the pricing decision. That is what we call pricing decision. Listen carefully here also. What is the manufacturing cost? 3,100. What is the selling price? 5,000. Marketability in peaks or the products are lacking the marketability. The products are lacking the marketability. No one is showing any sort of interest to purchase the products at 5,000 rupees. Why? Because competitors are offering the same product at 4,000 only. So in order to save that 1,000 rupee, consumers are purchasing competitors' products and no one is showing any sort of interest to purchase your products. Now, what you should do, if you offer your products at 3,200, you have offered a big discount of 1,800. What is your manufacturing cost? 3,100. What is your current selling price? 3,200. So you will get a profit of 100 rupee. Most importantly, apart from 100 rupee, you will get the instant money of 3,200 per product. With that money, what you can do? Liquidity, excellent. With that liquidity, what you can do? We can meet your expenses. You can meet your expenses. You can pay the rents, you can pay the staff salaries, you can meet with other incidental and needy expenses. In order to meet those needy expenses, in the previous case, what you left with? You left with the products. Are the vendors or the staff or the landlords are going to accept those products instead of money? No, no one is going to accept money. No one is going to accept products instead of money. What they need actually? Money. In order to get the money, you offered 1,800 rupee discount. Why 1,800 only offered? That is the pricing decision. If you got the clarity with respect to your cost, you can take the pricing decision accordingly. Without knowing your actual cost, you are not going to decide the final selling price. Even though you decide this final selling price without knowing your cost, you will be at losing side only. Say for example, your manufacturing cost is 3,100 ma, but you actually don't know how much is your manufacturing cost. Don't know the actual cost. You are offering the product at 2,700. Your cost is 3,100. Your selling price is 2,700. You are going to lose 400 per product. Even though the sales are at higher level, sales will be at higher level only. Why? Because our competitor is offering the same product as 4,000. You are offering it 2,700 only. The sales volume will be bigger and bigger and bigger. But ultimately you are going to the money. Why? Why? Because you don't know the actual cost of your product. Sir, now I wish to determine the cost of my product, sir. How can I decide, sir? By using costing techniques. By using what? Costing techniques. So for that purposes, for the pricing decisions, what we need? Costing. We are going to definitely need this kind of technique. This is the relevance of costing, and costing will be useful in budgeting, pricing decisions, and cost control also. Say for example, 3,100 is your cost rate, manufacturing cost rate. You wish to reduce this cost to 2600. So where can I reduce the cost? What are the steps I should take to reduce my cost? What are the prominent areas to reduce my cost? Say for example, sir, now I am offering my products on offline basis, sir. I have multiple stores in the city, sir. I am having 11 outlets in the city. 11 outlets are laid in prominent areas of the city. Each outlet rent is costing me 1,50,000 per month. 1,50,000 per month. That means on annual basis, on each store, I am spending 18 lakhs in the name of rent only. For 10 outlets, it will be 1.8 crore. So 1.8 crore is my rental expenditure, which is fixed cost. Irrespective of my sales, I should meet that expenditure. 1.8 crore per annum for 10 retail outlets. If I convert from offline mode of selling to online mode of selling, I can save this 1.8 crore, right? Am I going to save that 1.8 crore? I can spend out of that 1.8 crore, if I spend 20 lakhs for marketing and 50 lakhs for offering discount to customers, I'll be left with 1.1 crore cost savings. Clear? That is why majority of the businesses nowadays are running or operating in online mode. There are certain business which are running in offline mode also, but online, by choosing online mode, we can save lot of costs. We can save lot of costs. Out of the total savings, we can offer some discount to customers, and we can invest something into our promotions and marketability so that we can build a brand name. We can hire some ambassadors, or we can give newspaper advertisement, TV channel advertisements. Like that, we can invest in marketability so that brand name also will get developed. Okay, so in order to improve cost control also, costing techniques will be used. So costing is a science. Costing is a science where bunch of techniques are available to produce to determine the cost of a product or cost of a service or a cost of a activity. Sir, after determination of cost of a product or cost of a service, what I am going to do, sir? You are going to have the full idea or full clarity with respect to the costing structure of your products and services, so that you can offer discounts, you can offer price per unit cost, you can offer, but you can plan budgeting accordingly, you can offer you can decide pricing decisions, and you can implement cost control also. Okay, and several methods include job costing, process costing, activity based costing, etc. are the techniques. We have learned about so many techniques also. Not only the techniques mentioned here, job, process, activity based, we have learned about batch costing, contract costing, operating costing. Lot of techniques are there. Example, listen carefully. Yes, example. A bakery uses costing to determine the exact cost of producing one cake, which includes ingredients, electricity, and labor. So, if you came to know the exact cost of producing one cake, only one cake, you can decide the selling price accordingly, and you can offer the discounts also accordingly. Okay, sir, what is the major difference between cost and costing, sir? Cost will talks about individual basis, the amount of money or the resources we sacrifice to obtain one goal. The goal may be production of a product, rendering services, or acquiring asset. But the costing talks about it is a bunch of techniques to determine that cost. So which is having wider scope means costing is going to have wider scope. Okay, next one, cost accounting. Cost accounting is not a big thing. Why? Because you have already know about accounting, financial accounting. In accounting, what you are going to record the transactions in the name of journal. You are going to classify the transactions in the name of ledger, summarization in the name of trial balance and all. So accounting is nothing but the process of recording, classifying, summarizing all transactions, interpreting the transactions. That is financial accounting. If you done the same thing with respect to costing matters, it is nothing but cost account. So cost accounting is an accounting system only, not a different system from your financial accounting. Some sort of theoretical differences will be there. We are going to learn in coming sessions. As of now, cost accounting is a process which is similar to financial accounting. I am not saying cost accounting and financial accounting are same, similar. They are similar. I'm not saying they are same. I'm saying they are similar. The similarity lies within analyzing and recording the costs. In financial accounting, what you will analyze and record transactions. In costing, you are analyzing and recording cost. Okay, so these are the three components. First one, cost. Cost is monetary measure or non-monetary measure. It focus on what is spent, what is actually spent. Okay, next example use case. Example, raw material cost of 500, labor cost of 200, etc., etc. Costing is a technique to what? To ascertain cost per unit. Cost per unit. So calculating cost per cake. Example, cost accounting, it is an accounting system. It will analyze and record costs. The main example of costing is cost sheet for each product line. Tomorrow I am going to discuss about cost sheet. Cost sheet at foundation level, you have already learned about what is cost sheet and all. But tomorrow I am going to clearly discuss about what is cost sheet and how a cost sheet will be prepared. Cost sheet will be prepared on product wise, product line wise. Okay, in order to know the product cost, each product cost, each product cost, we will prepare cost sheet. Whereas in financial accounting, we will prepare P&L account and trading account and P&L account. But the main aim of the P&L account is to calculate the net profit. Calculate the net profit. But the main aim of preparing cost sheet is not to calculate net profit, but is to calculate what? Per unit cost. So we can arrive at per unit cost by preparing what? By preparing cost sheet. That thing we are going to learn tomorrow. And last but not least, one cost accountancy is there. It is a broader concept. It is a broader concept. It contains application of techniques and example advising management on cost efficiency. Actually, this is a bigger topic. In coming days, I am going to tell. Today we have completed three topics: cost, costing, cost accounting. Cost, costing, cost accounting. Cost is very, very important. Cost is nothing but the amount of money we spent or resources we sacrifice to achieve the goal or to achieve the objective. Sir, what is goal or what is objective, sir? 3 points, maybe 3 points. Producing products, rendering services, acquiring assets. Simple, cost complete. This is the most crucial decision for your upcoming uh, classes. Okay, so after completion of cost, came to know about costing. Costing is nothing but costing is a scientific resource which contains bunch of techniques to arrive at or to calculate per unit cost. To calculate what ma? Per unit cost. This is costing. And after that, cost accounting. Accounting is nothing but the process of recording, classifying, summarizing the transactions. In financial account, financial accounting, you are going to record, classify, summarize the transactions. But in cost accounting, you are going to do the same with respect to costs. With respect to costs. Okay. Example cost sheet. This thing I am going to discuss tomorrow's session. Okay. So I think time completed 11 o'clock. So next class will be start in coming 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. Right. Class is what? DT.